Rui, we've heard from a few of your teammates now, Brad, KCP, saying that they're telling you they want you to shoot or shoot more. What's it like hearing that from veteran players? To tell you to shoot.
I mean, it's a good thing, you know. Of course, see I'm obviously shooting better, you know, compared like my first year, second year, last year. But honestly, I don't really, you know, it's like the 3 points is not my game. You know, you guys know like my game is more like a mid range, you know, inside of three. So it's no, I'm not really like, you know, trying to force myself to shoot more threes, you know, because it's not my game. But it's good to have like, you know, threes too. But yeah, it's a good thing to hear that.
Well, aside from shooting shot after shot, how did you go about improving? And by that I mean you work with a shooting coach, you work with an assistant coach here.
I mean, like since I got drafted, you know, that's one thing I've been working on, you know, since day one. Of course, like, you know, I'm putting a lot of time and work and but it's more like, you know, for me, it's like more confidence, like have more confidence shooting threes. I'm more comfortable uh, shooting and stuff. That actually like, you know, helping me to get to this point.
I've heard before from some players that there's a difference in confidence doing something in practice rather than a game. You know, it's a
Yeah.
completely different story. What was that process like for you? Just crossing that line to get comfortable.
Yeah, it's a different for sure. But for me, it's like even in the practice, like I'm imagining like, you know, shooting a game, you know, shooting like a game. You just gotta imagine like, you know, you need to have a good, you know, imagination, you know, like you gotta think like, you know, whatever the crowds or like, you know, the feel, you know, even like a cold in practice and all there is a little different. So, you know, you just gotta imagine like I'm shooting out there in the arena. Um, yeah, it's a you need to practice for that, you know. It's not like something like you can just change your mind and do it. You know, you just gotta need a lot of reps and practice for that. Yeah.
Really, since you've gotten here, the roster has changed like a million times. How does having to play with so many different point guards, so many different guys on the like you must always kind of be adjusting chemistry pretty much since your first year.
Yeah, for sure. That's the one thing, you know. Start getting used to it because, you know, think about it, in college, like high school, whatever. Like we play the same, you know,
Yeah.
same guys. We don't have a trade or like, you know, transfer. I mean, maybe we have a transfers, but like it's nothing crazy, you know. But pro, you know, here NBA is like always like changing. So, but you know, end of the day, you know, we know our goal is, and then we know we have our like basic, you know, standards. So we know what we have to do, offensively, defensively, um, and then play together. You know, especially like I play with the Brad, uh, Ish, TB. You know, those guys. You know, for a long time, Raul. You know, so it's a good thing. You know, and then other new guys. You know, for same too. You know, I'm still getting used to it still. You know, but I think we have a good chemistry. You know, together. Right?
Does having to learn to play with all those different people aside from Brad and everybody, does that like make you better because you have to learn how to shift your game? Does it, or do you just like focus on it doesn't matter who's around me, here's what I'm gonna do?
No, I think yeah, of course the basketball is, you know, team sports, so you know we need to um you know, feel the like, you know, other four guys on the court, you know, floor. It's different, you know, who plays and who. So we just need to feel like what they like, what they don't like, and they need to learn like, you know, what I like and what I don't like, you know, my strengths and weakness. So it takes time a little bit, but you know, for sure for me it's like it's getting better to like adjust, you know, quickly. So yeah, it's a good thing. Yeah.
You've been back for 2 months now. Do you feel like you're in mid-season form?
Say it again.
Do you feel like you're in mid-season form now that you've played for 2 months?
Yeah, for sure. I think, you know, I'm more like I have my routine, a game day routine and all that. And I think you know, the team is still trying to figure it out, you know, but I think we're in a good position to make a playoffs still. You know, playing tournament and stuff. So I think we can make a push.
Did your time away from basketball change your love for basketball and your appreciation for it?
Yeah, for sure. I've been playing basketball since I was 13, and then honestly, I think I don't know how to talk about it, but I play basketball almost like a for nonstop. In Japan, like we don't have like season. We play basketball whole year, so like there's no literally like a off season kind of thing. So I play basketball almost the whole time, and even in college, okay, there's a season, but like the summer I played national team, so like almost like like I don't know, I play basketball nonstop since I was 13, and then finally I kind of sat down and then had a time a little bit, and then how much I love basketball and I miss it, and especially in this level, the NBA is like highest level. I think one of the best league in the world. So yeah, it's fun to I'm so blessed to be here and play with these guys, and yeah, yeah.
I want to ask you about getting to the free throw line. It's been kind of an issue for you guys last few games. How do you feel kind of like your responsibility is in just generating free throw attempts for the team as one of the better offensive players?
You talk about like for us.
I guess for you individually, like what's your approach to getting more free throw attempts?
Oh yeah. I mean, just gotta be more aggressive, down the rim. I just gotta get some more contact, and have more, But right now it's like I'm like I'm shooting pretty good from a three, so and the team still hasn't figured out. So there's more space for me to just shoot threes over, rather than like trying to force myself to get into the rim. But it's coming, I just gotta get more aggressive and trying to get to the rim.
What's it been like to see Corey's be a part of Corey's rookie season?
I think he's been great. He's been doing great, I remember my rookie year, it's tough, especially this like we just talked about, like the teammates always changing and all that, and he's actually starting a lot of games, so it's hard for me. I remember that my first year, just from the beginning, I just started a game, and then I played like the 30 minutes a game. It's no easy thing, you got to figure out a lot of stuff off the court, on the court. So yeah, I think, but he been doing great here.
You think his extra time in college has helped him?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he stayed for 4 years. Yeah, that's for sure helped him for sure. He's a he improved a lot of stuff. I can see. And I know he can be better. He's gonna be better too. So I'm excited for him.
Speaking of Gonzaga, you had a chance to watch Chet Holmgren play?
Yeah, I watched it like a couple of times. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on him? He might be in the league next year.
Yeah, I mean, he has a lot of potential for sure. Like and he's like a 7, 1 or 2, and he can shoot, he can move. He actually a good defender. He can block a lot of shots. So yeah, I'm excited for him. Yeah, too. Yeah.
All right, Rui, we'll transition to Zoom for a few questions. We'll start with Chris Miller.
Hey, Rui, I want to go back to the game before the All-Star break when you guys were in Brooklyn, specifically in that fourth quarter where I thought you played with a lot of joy. There was one play where you were going to the bench and, you had your tongue out and you were just smiling from ear to ear. Can you describe when you play with that type of joy, what the game of basketball means to you?
For me, it's like those are coming like natural, it's very like natural thing for me, just having fun playing basketball. Especially that game, it was we were winning, and it was all before the All-Star break too. So we were just trying to win the game and then have a good breaks until we're out there, hooping. It was for sure a fun game. But yeah, it means a lot, I mean, that's my one thing, like, I'm always thinking about. I mean, I always talk about is like, have fun, it's the one thing I'm really always thinking about. So yeah.
Thanks, Rui.
We'll go to Neil.
Hey Rui, just in this, last, 10 plus game stretch where you've, been really shooting the ball well from three, have you noticed that teams are closing out on you harder and maybe potentially giving you, then more lanes to drive?
I think so, a little bit. But yeah. I mean, especially yesterday was, I could tell, so that's why my mid-range game was open. So it was easier for me to, get into my spot. Yeah.
And then I know earlier in the season when Spencer had a chance to hit I don't know if it was game tying or winning three, you had run onto the court, kind of hoping that, it went down. Kind of same thing when Kuz let his shot go. I think you were kind of running after him. Did you think it was going in? Were you just hoping that I really want to be able to celebrate, one of those kinds of shots?
Oh, you talk about last night, right?
Yep.
Last shot. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be because I was by the rim and it looked good, so I thought it was gonna be going in. So yeah, it was a good shot.
Thanks, Rory.
We'll go to Christos.
Hello, Rui. Hope you're doing well. If you look back since the beginning, since your return in action this season, what did you say about your development as a player so far?
From this season?
Yes.
I mean, of course, everybody talk about my 3 points and also defense. But I think I can have more like concept, and idea of like defense. As a team, I can guard 1 to 5, and I think I've been doing that pretty good. And I know the coaches trust that. So yeah, those are things I think I improved it. Yeah.
And at this stage of the season, where you feel you are physically and mentally wise?
Pretty good. We have 20 more games or something for regular season, and I think we can make a push for the playoffs. So yeah, it's good. Yeah, we just gotta be in, right track. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And we'll go to Zach now for the Japanese portion.
I guess we're not changing the background or anything. Okay. はい。じゃあよろしくお願いします。
はい。
まず、今日は練習いかがでした？そのペースは戦に出て。
いい練習できましたね。はい。もう僕らもこうやって連戦で試合が続いてるんですけど、チームもいい感じで雰囲気で、明日の試合に向けてできるんじゃないかなと思います。
昨日のホーク戦は19得点と6リバウンド、非常にオールラウンドなプレーだったと思うんですけど、振り返っていかがですか？
そうですね、負けてしまったんですけど、チームとしても、内容的にはそこまで、ディフェンスは結構直さなきゃいけなかったことはあると思うんですけど、それでも、チームとしてもいい試合できたと思うので、それを次につなげたいなと思います。
昨日は第4クォーターで話して、ここ数試合はクランチタイムでもずっと出ています。出場機会が増えてます。そのあたりどうですか？
それもチームからというか、コーチも、どんどん信用してきてるんじゃないかなと思うので、そういうところではしっかり期待に応えたいなと思います。
昨日は5番を務めた時間帯も、この前の試合もありましたけど、スモールラインナップの5を務めることになるんでしたか？
そうですね、スモールの時は大体僕とクズマとダニーが出てるので、そういう時はもう僕らみんなサイズが同じなので、そこで相手にも混乱されてくると思ってるので、そこはいいんじゃないかなと思います。
そして昨日はまたスリーを3本決めて、ここ5試合成功率が 85% ですけど、フリースロー成功率高いですね。
そうですか。はい。僕もスリーポイントもずっと練習してきたところなので、そういうところでそういういい結果ができて今いいと思うので、続けていきたいなと思いますし、でも僕の、スリーポイントでそんな別に僕こだわってるわけじゃないので、いいと思うんですけど、そんなに僕としてはあんまこだわってないです。
でも9試合連続で決まっていて、好調を維持できているっていうのは何が鍵だと思いますか？
自分としてもそのルーティンというか、自分の、練習でもやってることとか、そういうことがしっかりと試合につながっていると思うので、それは続けていきたいなと思います。
練習でもやっぱり試合をイメージして打ってる。
そうですね、その試合の、僕がよく打つシュート、 そういうゲームライクみたいなのをいつも意識してやってるので、そうですね。
あとコーナーからの成功率も上がったって大きいじゃないですか。
そうですね、コーナーも一番、ニベのそのゲームの中でもスリーポイント、シュートが一番入るところというか、一番、効率がいいところ、スポットなので、そういうところでシュート決めれるともいいんじゃないかなと思います。
スリーが好調だと、オフェンスの他の部分にどういう効果があるか。
そうですね、僕の、昨日の試合もそうですけど、僕のミッドレンジのスポットとかもイージーにスポット行けたりするので、そういうところはいいんじゃないかなと思います。
八村選手ご自身の意識としては、シューターというよりかは、オフェンスの引き出しが増えたという、そういう感じですか。
そうですね、はい。
僕から最後なんですけど、W リーグの富士通の町田瑠唯選手がミスティックスとサインしましたけど、
はい。
ご存知でしたか。
はい、コーチから、WNBA のコーチから、1ヶ月前ぐらいですかね、そんぐらいの時に、話しかけられて、話されて、その時に、彼女が来るっていうことを、サインするってことを言われたので、僕もいいんじゃないかっていう話で、はい、
進めたってことですか。
はい、進めました。はい。はい、そうですね。はい。いいプレー。
これは4人目の日本人 WNBA 選手になるってやっぱりすごいことですね。
そうですね。彼女もすごい活躍したので、オリンピックでもそのあれが出て、こうやってまた DC もミスティックもすごいいいチームなので、彼女も本当にいいチームを選んだんじゃないかなと思いました。
これで DC のダブルルーになりますね。
そうですね。
あと、ウィザーズのプレーオフに勝ち進めば、ミスティックスのシーズンとかぶりますから、本当にまさにダブルルーになります。
本当ですね。はい。はい。
僕から言ってます。
はい。
ズームで質問がある方。
ズームで質問がある方、
宮地さんお願いします。宮地さん
お願いします。
はい、こんにちは。よろしくお願いします。
お願いします。
先ほども何度も言ってましたけれども、自分のゲームはミッドレンジだっていうのをもう結構ここ数日ずっと言ってますけれども、それはやっぱり自分の原点とかプライドとかそういったことなんでしょうか。
そうですね。自分の、バスケ始めた時からの僕のゲームのスタイルなので、それが、僕があってここまで来れてると思うので、そうですね。その原点ですね。
結構ミッドレンジシュートっていうのは NBA の中では今はちょっと効率の良くないシュートっていうふうに言われがちなんですけれども、そういったものを武器にしてスーパースターとして活躍しているクリス・ポールだとかデローザンとかそういった選手もいますけれども、そういった選手の活躍とかもプレースタイルとかも見たりしますか。
そうですね。彼らだけじゃなくてデボン・ブッカーとかもそうですし、カワイ・レナードも今プレーしてないですけど、ミッドレンジ結構打ちますし、クリス・ミドルトンとかも結構ミドルレンジでジミー・バトラーとかも考えてみたら、そういうオールスターの人たちは大体そういうミドルレンジが上手い選手が多いので、そういうところでは、そうは言われてるかもしれないんですけど、ミドルレンジには何かそういう力があるんじゃないかなと思います。
ありがとうございます。
杉浦さんお願いします。
はい、八村先生お疲れ様です。
はい。
はい。今のちょっと質問と似てるんですけど、なんていうか、ミッドレンジにこだわりがなく、で、今、ご自身が目指しているプレースタイルっていうと、ミッドレンジを中心としたオールラウンダーという感じですか。ちょっと説明するとどういう感じになりますか。
そうじゃないですかね。別にどういう感じかって言葉で表しにくいんですけど、そういう考え方じゃないかと思います。
今何人か名前出ましたけど、ご自身のプレー以外に映像で見てる選手っていうとどういった選手ですか。
でもやっぱカワイ・レナードのプレーは、最近試合出てないんですけど、よく見てましたし、今だとデボン・ブッカーとか、ジミー・バトラーとかも、ミドルレンジが上手い選手として見てますね。
わかりました。ありがとうございます。
山崎さんお願いします。
どうもお疲れ様です。今日はメディア対応どうもありがとうございます。
はい。
はい。前回コンディションが今までで一番いいという話をしていらっしゃいましたけれども、それは結構個人練習だとかチーム練習に加わってからも時間をかけてゆっくり体作ってきて復帰したと思うんですけれども、そのあたりがやはり大きいという感じでしょうか。
絶対そうですね。今までにないぐらいに自分でもリフティングとか、そういう体の作り方に、とかご飯もそうですし、そういうのにすごい意識してるので、そういうところが、来てるんじゃないかなと思います。
あと、結局、キャンプは参加はしなかったんですけれども、オリンピックが終わってからチームに入って個人練習する前の間というのは、完全にバスケットボールを一度立ったのか、それとも結構8月の終わりか9月の初めぐらいに八村選手が練習してる映像を見た覚えがあるんですけど、ウェイトか、コンディショニングか何か。結構自分なりにちょっと落ち着かなくて練習を続けていたのか、どうやって今のこの完全な気持ちの切り方ができたのかなと思って、すいません。
もう少しはしてましたね。はい。ちょこちょこしてた時もありましたし、はい。
それ自分でっていう感じですか？それとも
そうですね。
トレーナー？
自分でです。はい。
はい、ありがとうございます。
はい。
はい、橋本選手。
はい、ありがとうございます。
What kind of stood out from last night's game that maybe we didn't ask you about last night?
I think some of the similar issues we've been plagued with. The turnovers weren't egregious as far as number, but just the value of those possessions that really adds up and matters. The offensive rebounding has been a concern. We've been, it's been a sore spot for us as of late. And then the free throws. It's easy to say, well, it's just one area. It's the discipline. As far as individual containment, us shrinking the floor or lack thereof, but just the force at which teams get downhill on us. We just have to learn, and some of it's just guys getting accustomed to playing that style of game. The younger players dealing with that contact and being able to wall up, show your hands, and not be tempted to bring your hands over the ball. They sound like simple details, but they snowball. And when a team has a parade to the line, it just really puts you behind the 8-ball bit. So we have to clean that up because the last 5 to 7 games, has been an issue.
When you have 20 games left in the season, how much priority can chemistry building take? Like, is that as big of a deal now, even though you have guys with different levels of familiarity with the organization, everything like that, but you're also just like, gotta win games?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been what we've had to do all year. We've had guys in and out. Roster's been in flux for a variety of reasons for most of the season. So it's important to get that chemistry when you can, and of course, the priority is to win games. But getting those groups and the pairings out there together, it's a priority because we got to see what we have now, to make decisions going forward.
After last night's game, at least one of your players said that he doesn't feel like the team gets the respect it should receive from referees. Is that what's going on with the lack of fouls drawn, the shooting fouls drawn?
I don't know necessarily. I can't judge the officials' level of respect for us, and at times feels that way. But you also look at certain teams that they play with a certain degree of force and physicality, and they do it all the time. So that's part of it. If that's the way you play, they're not going to call every bit of contact. At times we don't play that way. So when we do try to amp it up and be aggressive, it may be more pronounced, as far as how the officials view it. But I think also, that respect has to be earned. What have we done, honestly, to warrant the benefit of a whistle? Our mindset can't be, play for fouls. We have to play our game. We have to be able to control, how we play with poise and not lose ourselves in that dynamic when things don't go our way. But, I think it's just, there's a level of aggression that we can be better at. And then maybe over time, you'll see some of that happen or go in our favor. But I can't get caught up into, whether, officials or other teams respect us or not. I can't control that.
Is the level of force and aggression attacking the goal is a commonality with the team's ability to finish at the goal?
To some extent, but it's just not the, level of attacking the goal. It's just even, we talk about owning our spots, your setups, not getting wedged out of position, and conceding at times, giving into the coverage at times. And that's not just us, that's basketball in general. It's difficult to play with that level of intensity on both ends of the floor for 48 minutes. But, you see those possessions and you maybe don't look at it at that moment as a big deal, but as they compound themselves, it does, really add up.
Yesterday after the game, you mentioned you might want to open up Rui's playbook for the small ball 5 position. Is that also the case for the 4 position for him? Like, how much of the playbook does he understand right now, or is he being fed?
I think he knows. He's probably most comfortable at the 4. I don't think he knows all of it. We've kind of kept that, pared down a bit because, of his late integration, and we want to make sure that there's, limited confusion with what we're trying to do. But we've seen it, game after game, whether we're downsizing with him at the 5, Kyle at the 5, playing, him, Denny, Rui together. It's just those 3 guys on the floor, we have to make sure we're organized. And how do we do that? So keeping him more at the 4, maybe moving Kyle at the 5 on offense. And then our matchups on the defensive end will be, we'll just target those, individual matchups. But he's got to get more comfortable. And it's just part of his growth. And it may take a little bit of time, and we don't have a ton of time to do that. But we also want to put him in a position to have success. So keeping it limited and kind of narrowed for him, I think, has been good.
All right, Coach, let's take some questions from Zoom. We'll start with Neil.
Hey, Coach, kind of just building off of Josh's question, do you ever feel the onus as a head coach when, you see maybe a blatant missed call to, even though it's not necessarily your nature, but, to get fired up and get yourself a technical with the refs?
Yeah, I think there's a place for it. I think it's also doesn't make sense in the moment. We've seen time and time again that we've kind of lost our composure. And it's not just for one possession. It's 2 or 3 possessions or for a stretch. And I think we get caught into that, worrying about the officials, and we lose ourselves. I think it can help, but, you can't have that in the 4th quarter. We've seen that at times in big moments where we're getting technicals at misopportune times, a lot of times for the wrong reasons. Whether it's a build up throughout the game, and then that last instance, what sets you off, you also got to understand the context. Is it worth making a point in that moment, and, stopping a bit of momentum, or, changing the momentum and giving it to our opponent? So, yeah, I think there's a place for it, but, I'm not sure it's always the right thing to do.
And then I don't think I heard anybody ask you, what was KP able to do today, from a 1v1, 3v3, 5v5 perspective?
He was a full participant, which was, another good thing to see. And so getting him out there again is just another opportunity to get him up to speed and get more familiarity with what we're doing.
I guess full participant, how much like 5v5 live scrimmaging were you guys really able to do? Was it a light day? It
was a pretty light day. We didn't do a whole lot, of up and down, but it was, a lot of script, handle some defensive concepts, some shooting, but it was good to have him involved in everything.
I know you've, always held out hope, but would you say that there's an increased chance that he can make his debut tomorrow?
Yeah, I think there is.
Thanks, Coach.
We will finish up with Christos.
Hello, Coach. Hope you're doing well. Speaking about Rui's presence on the floor, do you expect more in the final stretch of the season? How you see his progress, and what do you expect from him until the end of the season?
You said Rui?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's his growth in all areas. I think his understanding of our philosophy, our spacing, the terminology, I think is big, because he's got to process all these things quickly. And he's not the only one that struggled with it at times. I think Denny's had some issue, and that's just the telltale sign of young players. Corey, all those guys have had some issues at times communicating on the fly, making decisions, understanding what's important and what your responsibility is in that moment. But he's gotten better at it. So I think just the more reps he gets, the live reps will help. But I think it's where he was from when we first started, the integration process to where he is now, I think is night and day.
Thank you very much.
All right, coach, that is it. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.